So you guys could probably see from my face that I'm a little bit rough right now. I've just come back from Amsterdam. I went to the Tekken World Tour finals with my friends, met some cool people out there. Loads of the Tekken players from the UK were there, some of the best ones like King J and K West. And it was altogether an amazing event. And obviously they showed us Tekken 8 there. Everyone was very hyped, and that's predominantly what I want to talk about in this video, because I was sucked into the hype. But now that things have calmed down, I want to give my thoughts on Tekken and where I think Tekken is going, and why I'm a little bit more concerned now that I've removed myself from the hype and had the chance to really sit down and analyze the videos. Now there's one little side piece of information I want to share with you guys. I was in attendance at this tournament, and nobody told me that Ray Lil Black was in this tournament, or at least she was sitting in the audience next to us. So I went on Twitter and I expressed my, what's the correct words?
Profound sadness, sadness, sadness.
And I got a response from Ray Lil Black, although it was not the response I was looking for. If you guys can see that, but she just laughed at me.
Damn.
So when I was there, obviously they showed us Nina, and they showed us a couple of the new mechanics, the heat system, and they really used this word aggression. Now, as I said, when I was sucked into the hype, I was all like, oh, this is okay, you know, Tekken needs to change. It's been a long time. We've been playing the same Tekken for a very, very long time. It's all good. I don't feel like that anymore, and I'll tell you why. So I've been playing Tekken 7 pretty much since it came out. Been playing on and off, you know, but pretty much since the beginning I've been there. I've enjoyed Tekken 7, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of things about Tekken 7 I don't like, and the general direction, and it seems like they're further pushing this direction with the new Tekken game. My biggest concern is that in Tekken 7, aggression is already very heavily rewarded. They nerfed the movement from Tekken Tag 2 and Tekken 6 to Tekken 7, which made it harder to sway out of the way of moves or just get around in general. At the same time, they upped the offense. There's a lot of like counter hit launchers all over the place. There's a lot of safe moves. There's a lot of moves that shouldn't hit you, that don't have that great tracking properties. They end up hitting you. I think that's a byproduct of the movement not being as good as it used to be. And then you get to Tekken 8 and you look at all the things they're doing to increase the aggression of the game, to increase how much you're going to be stuck in block essentially. And it does make you get a little bit worried. And the reason that I am worried is because I don't feel like defensive players are very rewarded in Tekken 7. I feel like they have to work much harder than offensive players. You can employ some unga bunga tactics in Tekken 7, and with some characters you can get away with it. I don't know at all levels. Obviously I'm not at Knees or Arsalan's level, I'm not at Main Man's level. By the way, shout outs to Main Man. He uploaded a video recently and you can see the back of my head in it, so we made it, boys. But I'm not up to the level of those guys. So maybe what I'm saying here doesn't have as much weight, but it really does feel like at most levels of the game, offensive players are more heavily rewarded than defensive players. And the reason why I'm not really happy with this is because as we move into Tekken 8, you now have actual guard break mechanics. We saw Paul Phoenix going for one of those Phoenix style smasher moves, and Law's guard broke and he was open for an attack which did a decent amount of damage. Obviously we've got rage arts that have come back again. Rage arts are something that I absolutely hate. I didn't want them in Tekken 7. I certainly don't want them in Tekken 8. They make it really annoying to close out the round. You go from, you know, stacking up your, you know, doing your offensive things or whatever, and then having to be worried that they're just going to throw out this one button super, which has now literally been changed to a one button super. They've normalized it across the board, which I don't care about too much. There are some supers in the game that seem unnecessarily difficult to do, or not difficult, but the input just seems a little bit awkward. You know, when they've got those little star motions, as soon as I've seen those stars, I don't play the character, I just can't be bothered. So rage arts are back, rage is back. Rage is another mechanic I'm not very fond of. I'm 30 now, so I was playing Tekken way back when. So for me, the biggest changes were when Tekken 6 came out and we saw Bound and we saw the rage system. I didn't really like them, but they weren't too big. Main Man said something that stuck with me, and it was Tekken 7 is the last time that we're ever going to play Tekken 5. And I think what he means by that is that since Tekken 5, Tekken hasn't had dramatic changes. They've had enough changes to turn off some older players, but the changes haven't been so dramatic that you can't sit there and go, oh, I'm enjoying some good old Tekken. This feels like Tekken 5 with a bunch of new stuff. Now, yeah, Tekken 7 does have a lot more mechanics than Tekken 5. It does feel like a slight departure, but for the most part Tekken is intact. When you look at Tekken 8, it kind of looks a bit like a Street Fighter game. It's got a meter there, you've got guard break, you've got chip damage, you've got super moves, you've got this cancelling system that is akin to an FADC, from what I can tell. Paul went for a Phoenix Smasher, FADC'd into a whole bunch of madness. Now the game looks pretty, don't get me wrong, everything looks really nice. apart from Paul's Karen haircut. But it does make me someone that I would like to consider myself more of a defensive player. Don't get me wrong, I have my bursts of doing Unga Bunga as well, but I like to play a bit more of a slow, methodical game. It's kind of the reason why you didn't really see much Soul Calibur 6 content on my channel past maybe the first couple of months, just because that game is Unga Bunga personified. I can't stand it. Soul Calibur 5 for me is really where the game peaked. I know that's a controversial take, but I'm digressing. So the thing that worried me the most was initially the guard break. The guard break, when Paul did the Phoenix Smasher thing, that worried me the most. But now, having gone back and watched the video several times, analyzed it, watched a couple breakdown videos from some of my favorite Tekken YouTubers, I think the chip damage might be the worst thing. And the reason that I think it might be the worst thing is because in Tekken 7, with the way offense was amplified, you get stuck in block stun for a fair amount of time, and guessing wrong can result in a launcher, because there are just launchers across the board now. Most moves will end up launching you for some reason. I don't know, it's really weird. Or at least they'll counter hit launch you. And I was thinking about characters like Horang. Horang is definitely going to be in the game. He's an insanely popular character. There's no way they're going to leave him out. Someone like Baekdu San could come back. Even someone like Leroy. All of these characters in chip damage seem like they might be like a disaster. Someone like Marduk, who is typically quite a cheap character, doesn't really keep you stuck in block stun for too long. So characters like that I'm not too worried about. But just thinking about characters where they're pressing buttons on you constantly getting you to guess over and over again. Characters like Anna and Nina. You couple that with 10 seconds of chip damage, or however much time they said the chip damage was going to last for, that doesn't seem like a fun experience to me. On top of that, you've got the white life mechanic that they're bringing back from Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Now again that the hype has come down, look at that, kind of like, why? And that is my response for a lot of the mechanics in this game. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't want change in Tekken at all. At the very least, maybe the heat installers, the moves that you use to engage the heat system, maybe that's okay. I don't know. That didn't bother me as much. Maybe even the move cancelling. I don't know how much block stun you're in when those things happen, but that might not be the worst thing in the game. It's really down to the chip damage and the guard break for me. And it does feel like Tekken 7 is the last time that we're ever going to play traditional Tekken. It seems like that is out the window. And we saw shades of this when they included Geese, and they included Akuma in the game, and even Eliza. And to a lesser extent, some of the other DLC characters like Noctis. Traditional Tekken had kind of disappeared, and there was a lot more weird stuff, which is funny to say coming from a game that has pandas and bears and, you know, a space ninja swordsman and a wooden plank that can fight. It sounds ridiculous to say, but I think people that have been playing Tekken for a long time like myself will understand what I'm saying. There's always been weird stuff in Tekken. I feel like Tekken 7 really took it to a whole other level. One other thing that I heard at the tournament, now this is a rumor, don't take this as gospel, don't take this as me confirming anything, because I definitely don't have any inside information. One thing I heard from one or two people, I think it was just one guy, is that he was under the impression that the whole meter system, and the reason it was included is because Tekken Cross Street Fighter never really happened. And this would have been something that was going to be in there. Akuma was already an inclusion in Tekken 7. And then on top of that, you've got Geese as well. So 2D characters have successfully migrated over to a 3D playing field. We might be seeing more Street Fighter characters in Tekken going forward, as in Tekken 8, they might become DLC characters. There's a possibility, I know people ain't gonna like hearing this, there's a possibility that Akuma is coming back. The reason I say that is, one, he did make some valid points with regards to Tekken Cross Street Fighter and the meter system, and two, he was a very popular character. For as much as people hated him, he's a very popular character. He did help to drive the sales of Tekken. Tekken 7 is the most successful Tekken game, and I don't even think it's close anymore. I think it blew Tekken 3 out of the water. So it would stand to reason that one of the most popular Street Fighter characters might be making a comeback, given the fact that Namco never actually made Tekken versus Street Fighter. We might see Bison, we might see Ryu, we might see Sagat. I really wouldn't be surprised, especially with a system that seems like it would be in a 2D game. Now in Tekken, we might be getting Akuma back. So all in all, now that I've come back and, you know, we're back from Amsterdam, and, you know, we had a great time there and everything. Everyone was great. Everyone in attendance was great. You know, Amsterdam is great. Food there is great. But now the hype has come down, I'm a bit worried for Tekken, and I'm still excited to see what they're gonna be doing. Don't get me wrong. Still playing the same Tekken game for a very long time, so it would stand to reason that it's time for something fresh to come in. But I don't know if this is too fresh. I don't know if this is too far a departure from what we know. I don't want to be a complete skeptic. I don't want to be a complete downer, because I did that with Street Fighter 6, and then we played it in Street Fighter 6. It's actually pretty amazing. So who knows? There's going to be hands-on time with Tekken 8 pretty soon, I think, at EVO Japan. And I think some people I know are going to be going to EVO Japan, so they'll be able to give me some feedback on the game, and I'm sure we'll see videos online as well of it. But that's really my thoughts on Tekken. I want to be producing more Tekken content on this channel. I've been really stuck on my other channel, Midnight Rubbish, with my co-host Sabi doing all kinds of videos. So if you're not subscribed to Midnight Rubbish, please go and subscribe to it. I'd really appreciate it. We're trying to hit 2K. I am going to try and do more content on this channel. It's just been a little bit difficult. You know, I haven't had that much passion for playing fighting games as of late, although going to the Tekken World Tour finals definitely got me back into playing Tekken properly. I was always dabbling in it here and there, but I've gone back to it now. I've picked up a new main. I'm using Miguel. I just got up to Fujin rank last night, so I might record some footage if you guys want to see that. I still play Feng Wei, I still play Negan, and I still play Marduk, but I'm adding Miguel to the roster, and my goal is to try and hit Tekken God Prime or Tekken King, one of them. Not the like super high one, that's reserved for like Japanese or Pakistani players, but I'll try and hit like Tekken God Prime or True Tekken God, something like that, before Tekken 8 comes out. So maybe I'll do a video series on that if you guys want to watch me get my ass whooped for a year or two before the game comes out, and hopefully we make it there. But anyways guys, let me know what you guys think of Tekken 8, let me know what you think of the trailer, and also let me know what you think of Nina, because Nina's got guns now, and I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to be like Mortal Kombat where she's going to be on the other side of the screen just shooting away at you. I don't know if that move is accessible outside of a combo, because she could technically stand on the other side of the screen, start the beginning of her string and just end it with the guns, and then we could essentially be getting a zoning game from Tekken in the same vein that we got in Injustice, which is not something that I want to see. So I really hope they're taking measures to balance that. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you think the next character is going to be, and let me know who you want to see in Tekken 8. My personal picks are Ancient Ogre and Jinpachi. Anyways guys, take care and have a good day.